Welcome, everybody. I am Donovan Lacroxi. Today, I am with Alexander Michael Gittens, entrepreneur. How are you?
I am great, Donovan. Great to be having a conversation with you again in a different format this time.
In a different format.
Yes.
But you know I like to push the envelope, right?
Well, see, I'm a little bit nervous, but then that smile is very disarming, so I feel like I'm in good hands.
Well, let's get to know you.
Okay.
Aside from the business, how did life start for you up till now?
Okay, so thanks for asking. So my parents are immigrants. They met in Toronto. They come from the Caribbean and South America. And growing up, my parents were students when I was born. So my sister was born in Kitchener when my dad was going to the University of Waterloo. I was born in Windsor when he was going to the University of Windsor. But I remember us always having people over at the house of different cultures and different backgrounds that were always just such good people. And they were always from the church. And I remember having a very, very safe feeling with the people that were around me and my family. When my dad went to Bible college, he got sick. And we went from being in an okay situation to a very scary situation financially. And I remember the stress on my family. And I promised myself that I would make a lot of money and make sure that nothing ever happened. It was just the way a 7-year-old thought, but I was scared, and I always wanted to achieve. In life, when I went away to school, I had 6 scholarships. I lost them all because I couldn't focus and my grades fell. And I ended up hustling. I had one foot on the right side of the law and one foot on the wrong side of the law, and everything caught up with me. So I ended up having these scary legal charges. I had to pay over $2 million in taxes.
Wow.
I had to rebuild my entire life. I had to rebuild my entire reputation.
Yeah.
I had to start all over again. And there's no really Hollywood moment in my life, but I feel like that's when I really had to ask myself, what kind of man do I want to be? And I think the decisions that I made back then have really put me on track to the trajectory that I'm on now.
Right. What kind of man are you? We have people watching.
Yeah.
We're talking. What kind of man are you?
Yeah, I think that's a question that obviously you would want someone else to answer, but what kind of man do I want to be? It's important to me to be a unbelievably impeccable and unapologetic reflection of my talents, my passions, my values, my traits, my character, and my behavior. I don't want to follow anyone else's road. I don't think I'm right. I don't think other people are wrong, but I have no interest in someone else's version of who I am. I'm not saying I know who I want to be and all the things I want to do, but I'm uninterested in what someone thinks I should be or what I should do. And that mindset has led me into situations where I'm not saying I'm this or I'm that, but I've had to question myself and say, what does being the best expression of me mean in this moment? In a good way, when stuff is happy and the money's flowing and the business is doing well. What does the best version of me look like when someone I care about is going through a hard time, or I am, or I don't agree with something, or someone's saying something that offends my sensibilities or what I think is right? And that acuity and that focus on my moment by moment expression of everything that I am has been such a wonderful thing for me because it's allowed me to craft in real time the person I want to be. So who am I? I'm mindful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reflective. I'm excited about the future, and I'm grateful for the wonderful relationships I have and the opportunities I've been given.
Okay. The opportunities that you've been given.
Yeah.
Let's hear about the opportunities.
Yeah. It's weird to talk about, but I'm a strategist. So in our company, we have the opportunity to work with CEOs and help them get a little bit further down the road, hopefully bigger and faster than they can get there themselves. So that's been interesting for someone who grew up in an immigrant family, and no one in my family is a business person. We have counselors, we have teachers, we have religious leaders. We don't have one accountant. We don't have one real estate agent. We don't have any engineers. So for me, studying finance and being in business, this is a whole new world, like Aladdin-styled magic carpet ride kind of thing. So it's been sort of wonderful to learn this new language and this new thing of business, and specifically what it's like being the head of a company and running strategy at a high level. So I think I approach it from a bit of a different angle because I don't come from a business background. But through education and experience, I found that I've really taken to strategy and working with leaders of company and helping them achieve outsized returns. It's been a lot of fun.
Right, right. What do those life challenges mean to you?
Okay. Life challenges. I mean, I guess the same as anyone. You're like, who am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? Like who am I going to spend my life with, and what kind of life is that going to be? So those are the kind of questions and challenges. But I think for me, one of the key points, changing points in my life, is when I started to see the opportunity in challenges.
Yeah.
I was a little bit more weak sauce when I was younger and thinking, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to pay my own way through school? Why, like poor black kid from a poor white neighborhood, like poor me, right?
Yeah.
But I think what I realized is the universe doesn't care what I do.
Hmm.
It is what it is.
Right.
The question is, when the universe presents me with challenges and opportunities,
Mhm.
how will I go after those opportunities, and how will I respond to those challenges?
Right.
And if I'm able to both act and react in alignment with my highest values, then I get to shape the meaning of my life through my moment by moment choices. That's an exciting thought. And it stops me looking out the window and saying the world needs to change. And it's got me looking in the mirror and saying, I need to change.
Right, right, right. Now, is there a circle of people that you hold dearly to get you to where you are today?
Yes. Yes. I was always very lonely growing up, very lonely. And not lonely because I didn't have good people around me, lonely because I felt like no one cared about the things that I cared about.
Right.
I felt like nobody understood me. I felt like I was always in the wrong place. But the crazy thing is, I didn't understand myself either. I was always confused, frustrated about what I was supposed to do and how I was supposed to do it. And I was so ambitious, but I didn't know what to do and what to go. I liked everything ish, and I was a standout baseball player. I was a standout musician. I traveled the world doing both. But every time I saw like a famous black person, this is pre social media, pre Barack Obama, like everyone was like a musician or an athlete. And I was just thinking, there's got to be more. There's got to be different. So, so for me, it was sort of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I feel like I'm supposed to do something big. And when you start to realize that that's not something that is hidden or far away, who I'm supposed to be and my purpose is revealed by my moment by moment choices. So, how I do the things I do, how I respond to challenges, how I respond to opportunities is so much more important than what I'm doing or what the world throws my way. And it takes the pressure off getting things right in 5 years or 10 years. I just got to do things that are aligned with my values, try hard things where I'm likely to fail, and get back up as quickly as possible.
Right. Now, you say align with your values
Yeah.
because there are some people, and I know you can't speak for other people, right?
Sure.
There are people that do stuff that doesn't align with their values, but they say, I got to make it. Don't you think you got to do sometimes in order to make it, to disrespect your values?
Depends what you want, right?
Okay.
So when I disrespected my values, I ended up with 52 copyright charges against me and owing over $2 million. So I ain't gonna do that no more, right?
No.
You know what I mean? Like that took half my life to pay back. I'm not doing that anymore. So for me, it's more not what I have to do. Because we all have to, I guess, brush our teeth and pay our taxes and do whatever. I guess you don't have to brush your teeth, but come on.
Oh, you
right?
smell bad.
Donovan, I shower every week. Even when I don't need it. Even when I don't need it.
Every day I shower.
Really?
Every day. Of course.
That's extra, but to each his own.
Well,
So-
I don't want it to stink.
Right. But what I'm saying is, if you don't think it's important to live inside of your values, okay.
Yeah.
You have to deal with the opportunities and the cost. See, there's a cost to everything.
Right.
And there's a price to pay to be a certain person. So if I am unwilling to accept clients because their values don't align with mine, or they're in an industry that I don't want to be associated with, there's a cost. I won't make as much money. But I have to decide what is currency for me.
Mhm.
and great relationships and being true to who I am and to be curious about the future and to be not judgmental. Like those are things that are currency to me. But
Yeah.
I'm willing to sacrifice profit in the short term to get purpose in the long term. That's an easy trade-off for me.
Right. So relationships mean more to you than income, right?
Relationships are the most important. Like, okay, great relationships require respect, okay?
True.
Relationships with others, my relationship with my creator, my relationship with the universe, my
Amen.
relationship with nature, my relationship with my body, these all require respect.
Right.
If I decide to not sleep and to eat crazy and to not take care of my physique, it's not just my body that's going to suffer. My mind will suffer, my spirit will suffer, and my outcomes will go down. I need to respect nutrition in order to have a healthy body. I need to respect the spirit world in order to have alignment. I need to respect my own rhythms in order to have emotional health. So when you look at it that way, then you're looking to find the beauty and celebrate the uniqueness of who you are and who other people are, and to find joy in other people when combined with you to create outsized results. So yes, when it all about relationships, there's nothing that matters to me more than my relationships and my health. Nothing.
Amen. Not
All
a
right.
quick buck, right?
I'm sorry?
Not a quick buck, right?
I tried the quick buck. You saw what happened?
I know.
My goodness. It wasn't worth it, Donovan.
I know. So,
Yes.
what do you tell? You can't tell anybody what to do, right?
Okay.
We can't. But what do you tell people that, they find you inspiring? I find you inspiring.
Really? I appreciate that.
Yes, we've
appreciate
talked.
that.
We're friends. I've
Yeah.
known you for a long time. I know your dad too.
You do know my dad, which is super cool.
So what do you say to people that find you inspiring? They want to learn from you. What can they take away from this conversation today?
It's so humbling. I benefited from my love of reading. I got to spend time with the best minds that have ever lived, and I got to read their words as they intended them, crafted and hewn and with all the water squeezed out of it and just pure concentrated wisdom. And it was always a thrill for me. I felt like when I read Dostoevsky, like I spent time with him. I felt when I read Sartre, like I spent time. When I read Nietzsche, I felt like I got to spend time with him. And I've begun to realize as I get older that the joy that I found in reading and learning, some people need that in a different way. Some people need to be able to look at someone and say, wow, I'm inspired by what they were doing. I was always inspired by reading and words and those sorts of things. But some people do need a role model or people to look up to. So it has never been my goal to be a role model. But I'm very careful to always talk about the unique failures I've had so that when people are going through hard times, they can be like, well, AMG, he had 52 copyright charges against him. He embarrassed his family. He had to start all over. He owed over $2 million. So they're not looking at me as if, wow, he's really something special. They're like, man, he was nearly the cause of his own demise, and I don't know how he got out of it, but, I want to be resilient like that.
Yeah.
Or I want to be like more of who I am the way he's more of who he is. So I think to be an inspiration to people, it's not a position of pride. It's a position of privilege where you can allow the things you've gone through and the lessons you've learned to help someone else in their journey. So I don't know if you'll ever hear me put out any sort of message where you should do this or you should do that. Because I didn't listen to anyone. Right. I was someone who I'm like, unless if you have the exact life I want, I'm not listening to you. Why would I follow your own advice, man? Like, don't tell me what to do.
But there are some young people that do look up to, Drake or Cardi B or certain people that in the industry.
Wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong at all.
Unless you just want to sell your soul. But
I mean, but even that, like, I don't even know. Like, first of all, how much are you giving me for my soul? You know what I mean? So I'm just kidding.
Oh, no,
what are we talking about here, Donovan? Like, let's talk actual numbers here.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know what that means, right? Because it's like judging someone else's art is just hypocritical. Like, I don't know what's in your heart. I don't know what you want to do. Like, when someone has the courage to put themselves out there and be judged by the masses, I celebrate that. I don't have to connect with what you have, but could you imagine like millions of people having an opinion on you? I'm not sure I'm built for that kind of pressure. So I'm not a celebrity lover or hater.
No.
I just think that it's great when people have art and they have something to say and they manage to connect with others.
Right.
Because when I hear that Taylor Swift sold out Rogers Center 5 days in a row, first of all, economically, wow.
Right.
You're going to do 20,000, 40,000 people 5 days in a row. That's not a concert. That's a movement, all right?
Mhm.
And second of all, good for her. This woman came from Pennsylvania. It's not even country music hotbed. And she made it by writing her own songs and connecting with young women and older women now like no one else has. She doesn't sell that place out 5 days in a row if she hasn't connected with people in a special way.
Right.
That's awesome. Her fans feel like they know her. They feel like she's their friend. What an awesome thing to do. Why would I judge a woman like that? Like, why would I say she sold her soul or what? I don't know her, but she's pulled off something that literally less than a handful of humans have.
Right.
So I know she's special. I know she's incredible. Does she make music for 45-year-old black men? I mean, I got a song or two I might be listening to.
Unless you want to shake it off.
Oh,
shake it off.
You know what? I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to release my 2 favorite Taylor Swift songs, okay? The first one is Back to December.
Okay.
But my absolute favorite Taylor Swift song is not a hit. It's called Begin Again.
Ooh.
And it's such a beautifully written song.
Yeah.
In fact, her older stuff when she had more of a country music edge, the more the storytelling I liked.
Right.
But what she's doing now is nothing short of remarkable. You do you, Taylor.
But you're right. We can't judge people. And I was just giving that analogy.
And judge.
But righteously.
But why would you? Oh, righteously. I'm not religious. That's different. Yeah, if you're religious and you're judging people based on the Quran or the word of God, no, do your thing, man. It's just not me, right?
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So, okay, where do we go from here in your life now that you're...
I'm trying to live, Donovan.
You're trying to live?
No,
well, you are living.
No, but like now that I'm getting older, I'm just like, look, this is not gonna last forever. So I felt a premonition when you said that, but let me let you ask your question again.
I mean, in your 40s, where do we go from here?
Yeah. So I think the cool thing about getting older is when you're younger, when I was younger, you have just so many questions about who will I be and who will like me and what job will I get? Will I ever be successful? And I think as you get to know yourself a little bit better, and this is not me being wise, it's just me being older, you get like a little bit more grace for yourself and a little bit more perspective. I think with someone like me who really loves relationships, and I love that my best friend, like neighbor, we've been best friends for 24 years. You know, my friend Robbie, we've been friends for 30 years, 32 years. I think it's so cool that Kristoffer, who's the closest to me on a day-to-day basis, we've been working together for a decade. I remember when his wife was pregnant with his first son, and now he's winning medals for gymnastics in Ottawa. Like, it's just, I think the wonderful thing about getting older is knowing yourself better and just having these lifelong relationships where you've been able to have people be there for you and you be there for them. I think that's been the joy of getting older is deepening relationships and knowing yourself a bit better.
Is there any weaknesses you'd like to improve on?
In my life?
Yes.
How long we got?
I just asked, we all have blind spots, even me. I have weaknesses.
Okay, so I have blind spots with weaknesses that I'm not even aware of.
Okay.
The weaknesses I know are legion. It's myriad. There's a lot of them. But for me, I think the cool thing about getting older is kind of like getting a report card.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a kid and they come home and they have an A in math and an A in science and an A in geography, but they have an F in English. When we were kids with our Caribbean parents, they would have been like, wagwan with the F ear. Like, you know, we'd get in trouble for that one F. By the way, my parents are not Jamaican, so I don't know why I dropped that patois in there. I have no idea why I did that. But my point is it's like when you get older and you get an A in geography and you get an A in history and you get an A in math, but you get an F in English, you could be like, well, I guess I'm not going to be a writer. I guess I'm not going to be a poet. And you can focus on adding value in the areas where you do have expertise. So you don't have to, like when you're younger, your interests are more wide and more shallow. When you get older, your interests are more narrow and more deep. And you become more of a subject matter expert because you've just spent more time in a certain area. And that builds confidence and that builds a resiliency. And it can also put some blinders on. You should still like open up the shades every once in a while. But it's wonderful having done something enough to gain mastery. And that's a beautiful process.
Okay, I got an A in drama in
Come
grade
on.
9, and I got the highest mark in world religions.
World religion.
Yes, I got the
Okay,
highest
that was in
mark.
high school?
Yeah, high school.
You had a class called world religions in high school?
Well, I went to a Catholic high school.
Oh,
yeah.
I heard that they have to take religion classes.
Yeah, world religions.
I went to a Catholic school for summer school because I had to do summer school 1 year.
Yeah.
And it's different out there.
Mhm.
It was nice. It was a nice school, but yeah. But we didn't have to like do all the uniforms and stuff because summer school just happened to be there.
I had to do the uniforms.
No, we didn't have to do that. We didn't have to do that. So.
Young Donovan, back in the day.
Come on. Come on.
All right. So, do you have a message? What do you like to say? What would you like to say in 2024? What would you like to say to me?
Yeah, well, my message to you is thank you, right? We met when I was doing your radio show for the first time. But since then, we've had many conversations, and I've been very blessed that you've opened up to me about your journey, which is a journey of faith and resiliency. I think another constant in your life has been people seeing things in you that maybe you didn't see in yourself. But I want to applaud you for going after those things and moving in faith before things are manifested in front of you. I think your story is a story of being fearless and being someone who trusts that, today is going to be better than yesterday and tomorrow might be even better. And I think when you have a chance to meet someone and get a little bit of their journey, it just makes you a better person. Because as I reflect on my own journey, I'm thinking, man, when I was going through this really great time, Donovan was out there struggling to find himself. And when I felt like I was at the bottom, Donovan had a victory and whatever. So we've been on this beautiful intersecting course. And then when we actually meet, I get to learn more about who you've been and who you want to be and vice versa. So my message is not one for the world, but maybe one for you. And just say thank you for going beyond the interviews and going beyond when the mic is in front of us and just opening up and being just a good guy and just a good friend. And I think that's so much more valuable. I'll say things to you that I won't say on mic to anyone else because we actually have a relationship, and I appreciate that. So my message is I am appreciative of you. I'm glad that you're in my life, and I'm excited for this next chapter and these next things in your life. But I think that's what I want my message to be now that I have you sitting in front of me. It's just so wonderful.
And anyone listening and watching, you need a friend like Alexander Michael Gittens. He's going to give it to you straight up, but he wants good for you. He's not a type of person to support you on drugs. Not that there's no, or to support you doing the wrong thing. He wants good for you. He wants you to make it to the next level. And we have the right to make it to the next level, don't we?
Of course.
Okay. No, because there are some people that probably don't want people to make it to the next level.
Oh, yeah, but come on. If you don't want people to do well, what does that say about you, right?
Well, then that says you have an insecurity that you need to check and brush up on.
That was supposed to be a rhetorical question. When you ask smart people rhetorical questions, they have like an answer ready. But you know my parents, and I think that's the one thing I've always appreciated about them is they do celebrate when other people do well.
Yeah.
And I think, Kanye was saying that hater people marry a hater wife and have hater kids. And I think if you're used to people around you being negative about other people's successes, that's as contagious as anything, right?
Right.
But a candle doesn't lose anything by lighting another candle, right? And so if you see other people and you're intimidated by them, well, that might be a natural reaction. But you could also be inspired and be happy for them. And it doesn't cost you anything. And it's cleaner burning fuel than that, schadenfreude, hoping that other people go down so you feel good. Yeah.
Right. And it's good to want good, and you grow too when you want good for other people.
It's good energy. Like people want to be around people who celebrate them when they're up and are there for them when they're down. No one wants to be around people who disappear when they're down and then they try to pull them down when they're up. Like that's not.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Run for me. Run.
I always say, be happy away from me.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's so great to get to know you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like this conversation is like the extension of what we did in the pre-interview and other conversations. So I'm definitely having a great time. And I think it's great that we get a chance to connect.
Can we do this again?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
When I have my own talk show, can you come on?
Well, see, here's the thing. We got a little bit more time here, so we got to talk about like what this talk show would be all about. So have you been thinking about a format that you're like, you know what? I think the next challenge is trying this new format.
I would love a talk show.
Yeah? But what do you see it being, like a nighttime show? What kind of guests do you see yourself having?
I'd be like the next Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, well, I think the thing with Jimmy Fallon, that's a good example for you,
Yeah.
is he manages to be so positive and upbeat with his guests,
Yes.
which is so different than the talk show hosts that were from before, where they were a little bit more intimidating and
Yeah.
a little bit more snarky.
No Wendy, no gossip, or no
Yeah.
hot topics.
I know who Wendy Williams is. I kind of think I know what she's about, but I've never actually watched her do anything.
Yes.
But I think it's more kind of like gossip.
Yeah.
Gossip.
No, man, no gossip on you. Unless
Okay.
you don't have no gossip.
No, I'm not sure. Like I've never really watched her. Yeah. That's so the thing with me is I stopped watching the news years ago because I realized that maybe when there were only 3 channels, the news was about informing.
Yeah.
But really, the news is now about trying to keep my attention. And you heard the saying, if it bleeds, it leads, right?
Ooh.
So I'm just consuming tragedies when I watch the news. And that's fine for some. But for me, I try not to consume content that I don't plan to take action on.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be desensitized to other people's pain.
Yeah.
And if I don't take action on what I watch on the news, then I am being entertained by other people's misery.
Oh.
Because that's all it is. It's entertainment.
Right.
Right? If I wanted information, I can read, I can do a think piece or whatever. But if I'm just listening to tragedy and I'm not doing anything, that's called entertainment. And that's not how I want to live.
No.
So what happened was I stopped watching the news for years and I didn't realize I would become resensitized to pain. Then I got an Amber Alert or something on my phone where they said a child was missing. And it annoyed me at first because I was woken up at the middle of the night. But when I read it, I got this sense of sadness, just thinking about this child lost and afraid and all of that. And I realized the reason why I was in distress is because I hadn't been consuming this kind of, it literally popped up on my phone and I actually felt pain and sadness. And I thought, wow, you can resensitize yourself by, and I said I wasn't religious, but I was so lucky to be raised in a Christian home.
Right.
And the Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So I was able to renew my mind by stopping consuming things that were negative, that were horrific, that were sensationalist, and I didn't plan to take action on.
Right.
So I'm not saying I have a clean bill of health spiritually, but I'm healthier in my mind and my body because I'm not taking in filth all of the time.
Right. And that's good.
I mean, I'm getting better, Donovan.
Right.
Don't give up on me yet, right?
We need good energy. I don't
do.
want no negative energy around me.
I don't know that song, but let's go. Let's go. I don't know.
Yeah, we want some good energy in 2024, right? And into 2025, right?
Yes, when we did our last radio interview and we were repeating that word together, which we have to do.
We have to do.
We have to do it. Let's save it.
All right.
Let's save it.
I was going to do it now, but you can go.
I mean,
okay.
We have to build anticipation.
Okay.
Right? Like, don't give them too much, right? Make them wait. Gotta build the momentum.
All right, let's build the momentum.
But you know what's gonna happen, right?
All right.
Is that we're gonna build it up and then disappoint everyone. But I'm okay with that, are you?
I'm okay with that.
Oh, you can't always get what you want, right? Who's that, Mick Jagger? But if you try sometimes, you get what you need.
Exactly. But okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. Failure is an event, not a person. Failure is an event, not a person.
Come on. Oh, yeah. Now, here's the thing.
Yes.
We've been talking about this for years.
Yes.
But I'm going to turn the camera around on you.
Okay.
When you hear that failure is not an event. No, sorry. Failure is an event,
not a person.
Yeah. What does that make you think?
Ooh, that makes me think I persevered through all life's trials and I got through it. And by the grace of God, I came out on the other side. I'm still standing.
That was a full sermon in like 15 seconds. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Amen. For anyone that's religious, amen to those. Just clap in the air.
And if you're religious on the other side of the word, Amen. Amen. No, but it's true though, right? Because when you think failure is a person, then you're like, something went wrong and I'm not worthy or I'm a lesser than. But failure happened to you.
Right.
And as long as you get back up, then it's not devastating. It's a lesson.
Right.
It's when you choose to stay down that you have true failure. So it's a lovely little saying. I'm glad we say it on every time. It's our third time sitting across from each other with a couple of microphones, which has been a blessing. But failure is an event. It happens to everyone. Failure is not a person.
Not a person.
Right? It's not a person.
Nobody's a failure in this life. Nobody.
Yeah. So there was this old preacher. He's like, when you're going through hell, keep going.
Yeah,
like,
keep going.
Don't stop, right? So,
and there's a song by Donovan Lacroxi, we fall down, but we get up. We fall. That song, I love that song.
It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song.
So just keep getting up, right?
It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, if you keep falling in the same hole over and over, I mean, you got to learn at some point, right?
Well, I mean, that's different. I mean, with toxic relationships, you got to look. Yeah, you got.
Are we opening that door? That door right there?
But I mean, if it's the same pattern with the same person or the same event,
it's true.
You got to look into yourself and say, what am I attracting?
You know what I realized with my first long-term relationship?
Sure.
And I think when you date someone seriously for the first time, you might think it's going to last forever, right? And hopefully it does. But because I was so in my own head where I'm like, this person went to my church, they know my parents, they know me. I felt all this weird pressure to make it work.
Right.
And I got to be honest, in that 7-year relationship, I should have got out 2 years before.
Wow.
Never ever broken up with someone and been like, I never want to see this person ever again. Like, it shouldn't have gotten to that point.
Right.
I should have been like, clearly, we're not right for each other. And good luck and Godspeed, and I'm going to show myself out.
Especially when they said the comment, are you afraid of losing me? I think we were talking about that.
Should we reopen that door?
No. But
should we reopen that? Well, now that we brought it up, we have a completely new audience.
Yeah.
We have to mention it. There was a random person who was in a relationship recently.
You're right.
Where the person asked me, the person said that, let me get this right. Yes. She said that she feels that men should always be a little bit afraid to lose the woman they're with. And what did I say? Absolutely nothing. But then she turned it around and she said, well, are you a little bit afraid to lose me?
No. Because I'm afraid. I'm gonna repeat what you said.
Yes. What did I say?
I'm afraid of losing myself.
Yes. I told her, and it's true. When you care about someone, and the thing with her is that she was so accomplished and so beautiful and so charming. It's kind of like when you can attract a person like that, you're kind of like, I'm him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what y'all think, but look beside me. There are levels to this right here. And so you're just with an incredible person and you're like, man, I'm him.
Right.
But when I really thought about what she was saying, I realized I'm afraid to lose myself.
Yes.
Because there's been so many situations where I felt pressure to be or to act a certain way. And I knew it wasn't congruent or aligned or parallel to the person I wanted to be. So yes, I would be sad if I lost someone I cared about. I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't be afraid. I would be afraid of losing myself in a relationship where it's like I was just agreeing with that person because I wanted them to like me, or I would like not speak up for myself and I haven't had that problem in years. I'm very fortunate. The few and wonderful women that have been willing to date me have been absolute angels. If there's a problem, it's me.
Right.
But at the same time, am I afraid to lose somebody? I would say yes, when it comes to family members and it comes to the children, like my godchildren and that, the thought of them, yes. People younger than me, yes.
Yeah.
But if someone's lived a beautiful, long life and they pass away in the middle of the night, I think that's just beautiful. That's a beautiful way to go. I want to go. Right. I know how I want to go.
Right.
All right, I already thought about this. I know how I want to die. No, I know when I want to die. Okay?
Okay.
Let's just say a ripe old age.
All right.
Because I'm sure when I get to 85, I'll be like, nah, give me one more year.
85?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know how long I'm going to live.
Look, I'm not trying to like plan my own death. I just want to plan.
I'm not, but we're going to talk about this.
I thought about this, okay?
Okay.
And this is a serious topic.
All right.
So I've thought I want to go at a ripe old age between Christmas and New Year's.
Wow.
Okay, so hang on. My family already celebrated the holidays, and I don't want to drag the ghost of AMG past into the new year. Nobody needs that. So if I go on like the 27th, they have my funeral on the 30th.
Wow.
They could still enjoy New Year's Eve and just pour some liquor out for me or whatever they do. Okay, so that's
there.
I want to have a chicken wing in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to, at the point where you're like, I should probably stop eating, but there's still more chicken wings.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of food would leave a chicken wing in a bowl, right?
Right.
That's just irresponsible. So I want to be eating that last chicken wing where I'm like, man, whatever. Fall into a deep sleep, which has a name, the deep sleep after you've eaten too many chicken wings, but we're not going to say that name.
Okay.
We're just going to say I fall into a food coma and the chicken wing drops to the floor and I never wake up.
Wow. Okay.
I was trying to pause for effect. Let me just.
Okay.
That's the way I want to go.
All right.
Give me the chicken.
All right.
Give me the between Christmas and New Year's. Let me fall asleep with a full belly and a loving family and never wake up.
I just don't want to die alone, though. I want to die right. I just want to die right in front of my 3 kids.
In front of your kids?
In front of my kids. I don't care.
You want to die in front of people? No,
right.
Donovan, that's selfish. That's selfish.
Sorry. I'm not dying alone. No, I'm not. I'm dying in front of my 3 biological children.
When people say they don't want to die alone, it doesn't mean that they don't want to die with people not in front of them. It means they want a loving family.
That's
but
true.
You want to literally be standing in front of them and do some like Macbeth.
I am not going to be dying right by myself.
That's selfish.
No.
I had my loving family at Christmas. We celebrated the holidays together, and I had my bowl of chicken wings by myself. Everyone else had gone to sleep. I drifted off into that sweet, sweet sleep. And when everyone woke up, they're like, oh, shoot. My dude dead.
With the chicken wing? No.
The chicken wing hit the ground.
I just want, what do you call it? My kids to be around.
No, you don't want to traumatize your kids.
No, they'll understand. How
do you know? You're gone. They have to pick up the pieces. Donovan, that's irresponsible. I cannot co-sign that.
We're all going to go one day. I don't want to go in front of the chicken wing.
I know how I want you to go.
I don't want to go by myself at the hospital with somebody. No.
Imagine you had a wonderful woman who you spent 50 years with in your bed.
Yeah.
And you guys are spooning each other.
Yes.
I'll say you're the big spoon.
Yes.
And you pass away in your sleep like you want.
Yes.
And when she gets up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water, your cold, stiff body is around her and she can't go. That's how you want to go with your loved ones around you?
Listen, I'm not going to go alone in this world. I will go.
You want your children
Grace.
To be watching The Sound of Music on television. And you choke on a chicken wing and they're like, oh, Dad.
I will go with grace and dignity. What do you call it?
I don't know. You need to go to bed, kiss your family good night, and then not wake up peacefully. Don't traumatize the kids, Donovan.
Good.
Well, here's the thing. You're going to be at my funeral, okay? Because I have many years on you, all right?
Okay.
So you make sure you tell them, all right?
Okay.
Because when the family's picking who needs to speak, I want you to unfold a piece of paper from, May in 2024.
Okay.
Old AMG, he left a will in which he thought I should speak.
All right.
He said how he wants to be remembered. And it's a man who eats chicken wings and does not wake up.
Well, I don't eat chicken wings before I die. I just know I just want some oxtails, some
now we're so specific. So here's the thing. Now that we're talking about my death, let me tell you about my funeral, okay?
Yes, okay.
Play beautiful music.
Okay.
Do not let the music stop. All the music should be live.
All right.
From the moment the first person enters to the moment the last person leaves, play beautiful music. Who speaks is up to them.
Okay.
But send me off with music.
How many people you want at your funeral? I'm
all of them.
It's going to be full. My funeral will be full.
I think about that, right? I don't care how many people are there, but I think about the people who won't be at my funeral. And am I making decisions with them in mind right now?
No, but we don't need to care about the people that are not going to be there. We want to celebrate with the ones who loved us, who appreciate us, who wanted to see us win, because I don't want no haters at my funeral.
The only thing that I would say for who I want at my funeral is I hope that all the people at my funeral are younger than me now.
Really?
Right? Because I lost my cousin when he was in his early 20s. And it was just... I couldn't talk about it for years. I couldn't talk about it. And it's just like the fact that I had to stand over his coffin is something I never imagined. So I think for me, in all seriousness, I just want the people in my life have ups and downs. That's a part of life. But I want them to enjoy a full life where they get the benefit of the things they worked hard for and they have enough challenges so that they build their character into something beautiful. But the chicken wing is optional.
Okay. Not the oxtail, not the curry goat.
It's optional. But what's not optional for me is making sure that when I go, that I'm okay with the days I spent on this earth of representing who I am. Is that a better way?
That's a better way.
Chicken wing is desired, but not mandatory.
I still want my Guyanese or Trinidadian bakes with my ackee and saltfish with, what do you call it?
Those bakes? See, the thing, my mom is not Guyanese, my dad is, but there's a few things she learned to cook, right? And then bakes, that's what's up.
Especially with some good old ackee and saltfish.
Saltfish, yeah. For breakfast too, huh?
I know.
You can smell it from the time you wake up, huh?
Woo, we really got off track, didn't we?
Off track?
I know.
But if you're talking about my death, like that's probably the most important thing. That's not off track.
Yeah, but we're not ready to go yet.
Yeah, but you got to be thinking about this. Like when you think about your death, you should be thinking about how you're going to live.
Okay, well, I'm thinking about
death ain't creeping up on me. I'm ready.
Okay.
I told my mom that, right? And she got so upset. I said, Mom, I had a good run. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, Mom, I had good friends. I had a lot of obstacles. I had so many beautiful moments. I even fell in love once. I didn't think I could.
Right.
I thought I had an ice box where my heart used to be, like Omarion was singing about, right? And it's like, I had a really beautiful life. I got to travel the world. I was celebrated as a speaker, a musician, as an athlete. I've had great friends. I'm like, I feel like I've lived a fulfilled life. I ain't trying to die, but like Biggie Smalls, I'm ready to die. And not being ready to die is more of a referendum on your life than anything. Because if you're not living in a way that you acknowledge the fact that it's inevitable that you will pass, then what you out here doing? All willy-nilly, living a hedonistic life about pleasure and not creating purposeful moments for people?
Well, I mean, they say you only live once. That's the motto, as Drake said. That's what Drake said. You
we would get 15 minutes on I think we're going to get 15 minutes on death, right?
I know. I didn't think so, but it's a show that I get to be vulnerable and talk because we are going to have these type of conversations. Some are going to be uncomfortable with people where they are maybe going to talk about death. They are going to talk about being ready to leave this earth. And I just want to leave this earth with, what do you call it? Knowing
with your cold living, no, with your wife in your cold dead arms. I heard you.
Well, I mean, I would like to be around my children at least. What do you call it? You know, because listen, at the end of the day, what do you call it? I know why I say that.
Let me tell you what your mom and all the people who love you would say to you.
Sure.
Where are these children at, Donovan?
Well, I mean, everything has a time, and
no. See, that's when you're too good. That's the political response.
Everything has a time. I can say that everything has a time.
So you're going to quote Ecclesiastes when it comes to talking about the children? Okay, but here's my thing.
Sure.
Because with me, I've realized that I need to start dating more often. I'm like the person who wants to have children, but their spouse live in 2 different states.
Right. Okay.
And I've said, like, if you want to have children, you should probably be in the same room every once in a while, from my understanding of how it works. So for me, it's like, yes, I can't wait to be a father. Being a husband and a father are the most exciting things. But I wasn't dating for so long. I have my own business. My clients are mostly international. They're much older than me. They're overwhelmingly male. I don't go to church or anything like that. So if I don't intentionally...
Shame on you.
No, I jumped it. No, I don't go to church.
That's okay.
I go on Easter and Christmas to be around the family.
That's okay. Not everybody's met for church.
Oh, I had a good run. When I went, I had a great run. But where am I going to meet anyone? So I realized I have to actually intentionally date.
Right.
And every time I meet a woman and I actually sit down across from her and go out on a date, Donovan, it's the best situation. I went on a date last Friday. Awesome. Incredible. She was so much deeper and so much more interesting than even I expected. Right. Like, it was just a wonderful time, right? Because she's significantly younger, maybe too young. But it was kind of cool that, like, she knew about philosophy and she was well-read. And I was like, wow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
but she didn't quote, "Are you afraid of you're going to lose me?" She didn't quote that, right?
No, that was something I was actually seeing that. We were in a relationship. I just went on a first date.
Right. Yeah. You never know that people throw their cards out on the table sometimes.
You know what? I tend to, like, the girls that you see me dating tend to be a little bit more reserved, a little bit more. Yeah. I think, I don't know if she would kind of say those kinds of things. But I think when you're in a relationship, those are the kind of questions you should ask.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Anything?
Hey, how'd you dodge that question?
I had to.
See, you're not just good at interviewing, you're good at not being interviewed.
I'm good at not being interviewed, but I wanted to ask, is there any final things we get out of this discussion that you want to say or anything?
Yeah, no, it was just like before. Like, thank you so much for your friendship. Thank you so much for having me on your show a number of times. And I'm glad that we could be in a format where we could have a little bit more fun and kind of say things that you wouldn't normally say on the radio. And I just want to say that, you know, I'm going to be looking out for you and what you're doing, and I'll be celebrating all those milestones.
Thank you.
Please remember what I want at my funeral.
Okay.
And when you do have that beautiful child and your first children, talk to old Uncle AMG.
Okay.
Don't invite him to the barbecue.
I definitely
won't embarrass you too much.
Okay, please don't.
Okay.
I thank you so much for talking with me. And that is it for the preview of what's to come. I'd like to thank Alexander Michael Gittens. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure, Donovan. Looking forward to the next one.
Thank you.
Okay.